Zone. Jamie Nye, Warren Woods, and it's time now for Premier's Picks with Premier Brad Wall. Premier Wall, how are you?
Excellent. How are you doing, Jamie?
I am officially adding a point to both of our scores because the Oakland Raiders won.
Right. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, that's right. Wasn't that? You know what?
You can't do that.
Why not?
That's fair. No, that is fair. I think he's the host. He's the commissioner of Premier's Picks.
Yes. So
I don't know. Do you have hope? Like, first of all, I have to say I don't. I may not have picked them in the weekly pool. So full disclosure.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
But Phillip Rivers lit everyone up for lit the Packers up for 500 yards or something. I was a little bit worried. Our cornerbacks, they're a little bit suspect still. So I was trying to be a little bit cautious. I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but I might have picked the Chargers. But I was happy to lose the pool, and not that game would have made a difference. I lost a bunch of other ones too, but thrilled to see the Raiders beat the Chargers.
There's a few times my daughter had no idea what I was yelling at the television for. Not in anger, because it was all good that was going on. They dominated the San Diego Chargers until late in the game. Got a little nervous, but it's nice to see. I'm holding out hope. People chuckle at me, Lee Jones and Murray McCormick and the other guys at Rider Practice, when I start going on and on about the Oakland Raiders and how, hey, this may be the year they can get into the wild card. And they say, well, who are they going to pass? The Jets? Are they going to pass the Steelers? I'm like, yeah, they can beat both of those teams.
Absolutely, they can beat both of those teams.
No doubt. Raider Nation is alive and well. Just be careful, everybody. Here we come.
You know what? And those points at the end, I mean, it did get a little weird at the end, but that was garbage time. And I want to say that the person I was playing in fantasy football on Sunday had Woodhead and Phillip Rivers. And we had, we shut the Raiders shut Phillip Rivers down basically for three quarters. And then it all turned out well in the end. The gap was not closed. I had a bit of a lead in the fantasy football thing, but that was also painful to watch. Garbage time points against the team I cheer for, Rivers to Woodhead twice. That's a lot of points.
This just did. Daryl Davis, I hope you're listening. Even the premier of the province has a fantasy football team.
Hey, did you hear that came up in the Republican debate yesterday?
About daily fantasy
and whether it's gambling or not, and Jeb Bush talks about his fantasy team.
Did some people think it was gambling?
The daily fantasy football is where like you can just go in and pick a team each and every week, and you win money right away.
Vegas thinks it's gambling, because they want to tax it.
Vegas thinks it's gambling. They will just want more money out of it. That's more than anything.
I did not know that came up in the debate.
Yeah, and then Christie goes off on Bush, says, we got $1 trillion deficit, and we got this going on, that going on, and you're talking about fantasy football and.
So in other words, Christie would probably go off on me if he knew that maybe on Sundays I might be watching quite a few games at once.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know, because we do a fantasy football segment each week on the Fan Zone, because Woodsy and Darryl won't let me talk fantasy football on this show, even though it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and most are doing it. Even the premier of the province.
It might be an age thing, Jamie.
I don't know. Are you saying Woodsy and Darryl are old, Premier Wall?
That's exactly what he's saying.
I'm just saying the older fellas maybe aren't interested in it.
But who's your quarterback? Who was your first pick in your fantasy football team?
So Andrew Luck, and that's not worked out very well. And then I had my backup was Matt Stafford, also terrible. So I kind of got lucky. I went on the waiver wire and I grabbed Andy Dalton, who's turning in his best year to date, I think.
Nice. Well done. You should have picked up Blake Bortles, because he's having a great year. And no lie, he's like fifth.
I know. Well, the team I'm playing this week, he's starting Blake Bortles. I think he's starting him. He did last week. Maybe he switched.
Well, I hope not this week. Jacksonville's got a bye.
They got a bye. You're right. No, but he's got him on the team because I don't think he won last week, but Bortles got a bunch of points again. He throws quite a few picks, though.
Anyways, let's get to Premier's picks as the premier of the province. And here, this is how it works, fans. You are 4 games up on Premier Wall with 8 games remaining on the CFL regular season. So if you do the math, the fans can put you away this week, Premier Wall.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
It
really isn't surprising. However, I think what we could do in the interest of fairness, Premier's Picks equalization program, if you call it. We could say, you know what, we're all going to pick we're all picking the Riders. We could do that.
Okay.
How about? Well, you don't have to worry, Jamie. You're way ahead.
Not with the fans are still within reach, so we'll see. We'll see.
Aren't those your listeners? You really want to? They're kind of like your bosses. Do you want to beat them?
I like winning. I'm very competitive.
Right,
I like winning. So this is how it works. The fans text in at 306-306 with your 4 winners. Here are the games: BC versus Toronto, Saskatchewan in Calgary, Ottawa in Hamilton, Montreal in Edmonton. 306-306. Again, the games: BC, Toronto, then Saskatchewan, Calgary, then Ottawa and Hamilton, Montreal against the Edmonton Eskimos. 306-306. Who are your 4 winners this week? Also playing Premier's Picks is the co-host of the Fan Zone, Gary Nickel, who is just 2 up on Premier Wall. So the Premier's, if he can escape the basement on Premier's Picks if he catches Gary Nickel, what did we do? We all went 2 for 2, except for the fans were 1 and 3 last week. Let's go to game number 1. I'll go first because I'm so you guys can maybe strategically pick if you want to.
All right.
I'm BC Toronto. I'm picking the BC Lions. Premier Wall.
Toronto.
Ricky Ray back at quarterback for the Argonauts. Going Toronto. Gary.
Well, the Fan Zone originally had the Lions, but I like the way you're going with this, and I want to stay ahead of the Premier, so I will also take Toronto.
Okay.
Oh, Scott did not like that pick. The co-host who actually makes the picks for Gary Nickel, but Gary's going against it.
Audibles. He's
But
sort of
he did say, now guys, he did say, these are the picks, but feel free to do what you want to make it entertaining. And I feel that's the most entertaining pick, so we will go with that one.
He's like Tom Coughlin on the sideline. He does not like the audibles.
There it
Just
is.
call the play that we've called Eli. That's what Scott's saying.
Jamie Nye, the Premier of the province, Premier Wall, Gary Nickel here on Premier's Picks as we go to Saskatchewan, Calgary. I'm picking the Calgary Stampeders. I
would just like to say that Gary, the King, and I pick the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Easy as that.
As we go to the 3rd game of the week, Ottawa-Hamilton, the game of the week. First place up for grabs. These 2 teams face each other back-to-back weeks. This time it's in Hamilton. I'm going with the Ottawa Red Blacks on the road at Tim Hortons Field at the Donut. Premier Wall?
Gary Nickel, you're up.
Well, I want us to finish in a tie, Mr. Premier, because
I know. This is the clinching in the middle of the ring strategy.
Exactly. This is our big finale here.
Right.
We need to end together, like holding hands across the finish line. So I am going to assume that you will take the Red Blacks. So I will take the opposite of your Red Blacks pick.
So he's taking Hamilton?
You're taking Hamilton?
Is that
how that works? I'm a little confused after all that. You were taking the Ticats, right, Gary?
Well, I just want to make sure you take the opposite of me for the last 2 so we could be tied.
All right, Ottawa. I'll take Ottawa.
There it is. That was easy.
Unless Hamilton wins, and then Gary's will be very happy.
This is some sort of mind game he's playing. But
Yep.
You guys really think I'm capable of mind games?
Yep, I don't know. Give yourself some credit.
And the final game of the week, the Montreal Alouettes, the Edmonton Eskimos. And I'll tell you what, I did select on my weekly predictor on CFL.ca. It's right there. I'm going with the upset. I'm going Montreal beats the Eskimos in Edmonton. Premier?
Eskimos.
And I guess I got to join. I just read Jamie's article, and I like to follow the experts, so I will go. Who is it you picked again? Who's our team? I didn't even.
I'm going Montreal over Edmonton.
I will take the Alouettes.
There you have it. Premier's Picks is a final one. Are you going against the Raiders again this week against the New York Jets, or are you actually you're picking the Raiders?
Yeah, I'm picking them.
Okay, we're all.
And Gary, you picking the Raiders or the Jets?
I guess I got to take as a.
There's no have to. You
as
pick
a
whoever
sign
you
of
want.
unity.
This is Canada. You can choose whatever. It's a free country.
So much. I'm going to exercise my freedom and follow my heart and the Premier and take the Raiders as well.
It is my goal next season to be on in Premier Wall's Fantasy League. That is my goal next season.
Done and done.
Done and done.
Well, don't forget about the little guys, Gary. We did start the whole segment, Jamie.
I'm not the commissioner, so I may be in trouble, but I'll lobby hard.
You're putting a good word for us.
I will.
There is Premier's Picks for the week. Premier Wall, we'll talk next week.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
306-306 is the text line. You can weigh in now. Who are the 4 winners this week in the CFL? BC, Toronto, then Saskatchewan against Calgary, Ottawa against Hamilton, Montreal against Edmonton. This is the Green Zone on 980 CJMA.